Today we're reviewing the Meze 109 Pro.
Nico knows tech, all your tech tips and reviews on deck. Nico knows tech, #1 channel with the news on check.
Now the 109 Pro by Meze has been receiving a lot of hype lately, and for a good reason. I've tested it and I found it to be very impressive. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why. Before we get started, huge shout out to VIP CDK Deals for sponsoring this video. Do all of your friends call you a loser for using a sus copy of Windows? Then stop being a zero and get ready to be a hero by getting a valid copy of Windows 10. With all the bells and whistles a future superstar like you needs, you might be thinking to yourself, Pro Edition costs $200, see? No. If you follow the link in the description to VIPCDKDeals.com, you can get yourself a Windows 10 Professional Edition for $22.50. Wow! You think that's great? Well, if you use coupon code NK25, you get 30% off. That brings the price of Windows 10 Professional to $15. Wow! All major payment methods accepted, including PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard. To activate your license, simply go to Settings, System, About, and then click Change Product Key. Simply paste your product key and then click Next, and then you are good to go with your valid copy of Windows. Like all other Meze products that I have tested, the presentation is fantastic. Inside the elaborate packaging is a hard leather storage case. The inside is lined with felt, and our cables are inside this leather bag. Included are two cables, both 3.5mm single-ended. One cable is 1.5 meters long, as well as a 3 meter long cable. One thing that I wish that Meze included with the 109 Pro would be balanced cables. This is the cable that I recommend, which I bought from Meze direct. It's about $49.99, but it is a balanced cable. It has the dual 3.5mm mono, but it's long and slender enough to fit into these recessed ports, so very important to make sure your cable's compatible. And then this one is 4.4mm. They also have XLR as well, but this one's more compatible with my Zendak V2. And the balanced cable allows you to deliver a little bit more power, maybe a little bit more separation, and most of us in the audiophile world believe we get a better sound. I'll put links to this cable in the description. The design of the 109 Pro I would call elegant and sophisticated. The headband system is nearly identical to their award-winning 99 Classics, which I also reviewed on the channel. There are some subtle differences, and when compared side by side, I definitely see the 109 Pro as an upgrade. Something people have been wondering is if the 109 Pro is actually an open-back 99 Classic. Clearly not. And I'll also get into the sound differences shortly. The self-adjusting headband is a high-quality protein leather and has significant padding. The ear pads themselves are a plush velour and are also removable. Behind the astonishingly detailed protective grille are 50mm drivers that are a hybrid of beryllium and cellulose carbon fiber composite. Frequency response is an impressive 5 Hz to 30 kHz, with a sensitivity of 112 dB and an impedance of 40 ohms. That makes them a very easy to drive headphone, even on a smartphone. Now, if you're not familiar with Meze Audio, they're what's considered a high-end audiophile brand, meaning they cater towards the end-game buyer, with products such as the Empyrean Elites at $4,000 and their Lyric at $2,000. These are somewhere in the middle at $799, which is not cheap. And for many people, these would be end-game. So in order for them to be an end-game headphone, they have some big shoes to fill. Now, I gotta level with you. Meze did send me these for review, and when I first tried them on and listened to music with them, I said to myself, what the Meze, you just broke the internet. You've changed the audiophile industry forever because they are astonishingly good. And starting with the comfort, they are amazingly comfortable. They go on like so, self-adjusting, just put them on, perfect fit every time. The top is this padded comfort strap, and it's just nice and plush. The tension isn't too much, it's just right. The ear pads are this velour and this is squishy, and doesn't feel like anything. They feel very luxurious to have on. I can have these on for hours. I've fallen asleep in them. Comfort is really going their way on these. As far as the inside of the cups, there is so much space. They are kind of big headphones, so that's actually a good thing for me because I have so much space in there. And that's not even talking about the soundstage, which I'll get into shortly. Now, what I think is the best part of the sound of the 109 Pro is the sound stage, which is immense. It's very wide, but the imaging is intact. It's almost like all of the instruments and sounds and vocals have their own speaker inside, and it's just a dynamic driver. They do have a planar style performance in that, in addition to the sound stage, it does have some slam to it. Now, with open back headphones, you would expect them not to have much bass or impact, but the 109 Pros, they are an exception, and I would go so far as to say these are perfect headphones, and I know I'm going to get torched in the comments for saying that, but they have so much in the right places. We have great detail, great imaging, resolution, no low distortion, and also a very wide soundstage. These are all things that most of us audiophiles want. And you combine that with the comfort, the build quality, the looks, which some people may find as tacky, I find as very elegant. But when you have all of this going, it makes a perfect headphone. Now regarding the bass, since they are open backs, well, you don't usually expect bass. They have great bass. It's not boomy at all. You do have a slightly elevated sub bass, which is what gives me that impression that they has a bit more bass response than most open backs, but it's nowhere close to the 99 Classics by Meze, which if you have tried those before or have owned them, they are a bit on the bassy side. These are beautifully balanced. And as far as the detail goes, they have superb detail without being very bright. Meze headphones tend to be gently on the warm side. 99 Classics are really on the warm side. I can't really place these as bright, but they're not really on the warm side either. It's almost, I mean, if I had to say it's one way or the other, probably the warm side, but they're just right there in the middle. They're stunningly detailed, almost studio accurate without being boring. They're just so lively and active and dynamic that they just are great to listen to. And then something I can do with them is I can turn down the volume a little bit, and then I'm just so relaxed. The impact kind of dies down a bit and I just fall asleep because it sounds good at lower volumes, as well as when you blast the voltage in there and give it some high volume, they sound really good. Now, I tested them with various types of music ranging from classical, hip-hop, EDM, rock, even oldies, and they performed very well at all of them, but they had a different experience for me as an audiophile. Classical music nearly brought me to tears, but where I had the most fun was with rock music because it made it sound better than I was used to. It gave slam to things that I wasn't used to having slam to, and it widened the sound stage for me in areas where I might not have heard certain instruments the right way. So that was a new experience for me. Where I thought it wasn't so fun was the EDM and really bassy tracks, because it made it really full of sub bass, which was fun for a little bit, but not for extended listening. But that's a preference. There's a lot of people I know that really want bassy headphones that listen to really bassy tracks, and they just like that throbbing. So they are fun in those, but I just found them more enjoyable, adding impact, adding soundstage, bringing out the details in tracks that I hadn't listened to in a long time. That's where they really shined. And if the track is really high quality, these really reward you for listening to lossless tracks, FLACs, or listening to them on really high-end DACs and DAC stacks, amp stacks. The higher end your equipment, these things really reward you all the way up to scale. But even plugged into a cell phone, they sound remarkably good. Now, can I recommend these for purchase? Well, that really depends on you. Now, if you have $800 to spend on headphones and it's nothing to you, then absolutely, they are the best in class. At this price range, these are the best headphones. So if you have that liquidity, these are an excellent buy. But what if these are endgame for you? For many people, in fact, probably most people that watch this channel, $799 would be the end game as far as price range goes. Do they fit that bill? In my opinion, they do check all of the boxes, and these could be just the one headphone that rules them all for you. Their immense soundstage, the detail, the quality, just everything here speaks high end. Nothing about this, even the build, feels like a ripoff. This feels like $799. In fact, a lot of it feels more, but the sound is where it kicks the crap out of that price range, because this hits in the $2,000 price range. In fact, I've tested many multiple $1,000 headphones, which I don't like as much as the 109 Pro, and that's saying a lot. Highly recommend. You can check them out at the links in the description for the latest prices. And I hope you found this review helpful. If you like it, please click like and consider subscribing. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time.